looking like a baby in the cold. I put the water in the ocean in the city that I'm from.
My bad, guys. I had to break the video up because that video was already too long. So anyways, with everything going on, you know, the police wouldn't do nothing but the masked guy that came into her home had sex with her. She thought it was Nino. So she tells Nino, like, what happened. Nino comes running over to the home, right? And he's like, oh, so you really had sex with somebody? She was like, I thought it was you. I thought it was you. Honestly speaking, like, you wouldn't think anybody else would come into the home. So, yeah, I'll understand, like, what happened. So she feels violated. And she should feel violated. Like, that part was crazy, like, to me. That part was crazy. So, Nino kept stressing, like, yo, you should tell... Sorry, before that part, Nino comes back to the home. He kept stressing to Ivy, you should tell the father of the baby that you're pregnant. Like, he has every right to know, regardless if you want the baby to be in their life. So she's just like, all right, fine. He still doesn't know that Cage is the father. So anyways, Ivy pulls up to Cage's house. Cage, to tell Cage that he's the father. So when she gets there, Cage starts confessing his love and everything. So Ivy's taken back. Ivy tells him, put his hands on the belly, like, yo, I'm pregnant. So he's like, like, you pregnant? You pregnant? In the midst of her saying that, she has to throw up. So she goes to his bathroom to throw up. She throws up. She looks up. There's a ski mask, the same mask that the man was wearing that had sex with her. So she dips out like, what is this? What is this? What is this? Cursing him out. She was like, you violating me. F you. I don't want nothing to do with you. What do you? She runs out the house. At the same time, another lady named Sherry moved next door to Cage. So Cage and Sherry been seeing each other. Sherry's mad beautiful. At one point, they had ran into each other at the store too. Ivy gets in the car, tries to run Cage over. Cage is following her. Cage is like, let me explain. She's like, no, F out of here. Like, you violated me. I'm like, hold on. The sexy dark chocolate neighbor violated my girl Ivy. He didn't even have to do that. She was ready to drop the drawers at any given time. So anyways, I'm like, damn, Cage really violated like that, right? So now, meanwhile, at the same time, Ivy goes home. She's like, going through it, she finds out that her mother's hiding a secret because there was a package delivered to the house for the mother, but the mother didn't show Ivy. So now Ivy's just like, she's fed up. She's like, too much is going on. I don't know what's going on. So she starts looking for the package. In the package, she sees like there's a photo, right? So there's a photo of a man, a woman, and 2 kids. So she confronts Mama K. Mama K tells her, like, long story short, I'm not your mother, I'm your sister. She said, I'm not your mother, I'm your sister. I'm like, oh, what? Like, what? So, yeah, basically, Mama K tells Ivy, like, listen, I grew up in an abusive household. My father was abusive. My mother was basically very submissive to my father. I killed my father. He was on a ladder fixing the house. I kicked the ladder under him. He died. When he died, she thought that, you know, the family would live happily ever after because it was her. It was Malaysia, which is Ivy. And the mother, but instead of the mother feeling relief, the mother went into depression. The mother wasn't doing her responsibilities. So Mama K, also known as Daisy June, basically told her mama, like, listen, you could live for me and Malaysia, or you could go with your husband. And she told the mother, like, basically how to kill herself. The mother chose to die and leave her kids. And I'm like, damn, like, the mother really chose a man. I'm like, I get it, though. I get it. We're not even gonna get into that. Anyways. So, because Mama K and her mother look so much alike, like twins, like so much alike, she took her mother's identity at the age of 18. She didn't want Malaysia to be raised in no orphanage home for nobody to abuse her the way that she was abused sexually, all that. So she decided that she was going to take her mother's identity and raise Malaysia as her own, and she's been doing that ever since. So that's why whenever Malaysia Ivy looks at Malaysia is Ivy, looks at her mom. She's like, yo, you so young. But that's because she's like 15 years younger than what she says, right? So Mama K goes to Ivy like, now that you know the truth, are you mad? Ivy's like, no, like, I'm still gonna call you mother. You raised me, you protected me, like, there's nothing changed. So, you know, she's like, oh my gosh, like, she's feel a source of relief. So anyways, so Simon is Ivy's dead husband's father, who Simon was married, is still married to Mama K, right? So with everything going on, you know, Simon decides that he's gonna pull up to the house to confront Mama K and Ivy. So they open the door, and Nino's outside at this time, right? So they open the door, and Simon pulls up drunk with a gun in his hand and pills and all that. He's like to Ivy, you killed my son, you killed my son, you killed those other men. I know it was no accident. Like, I've been following you across state lines. I've been following you for 2 years. I only married your mother so I could get closer to you, but your mother never let me closer to you. All of that. At the same time, right, Nino pulls up, right, and he's creeping. But this dickhead did turn his phone off. So as he gets behind Simon, because Simon's still waving a gun, Mama K's right here, Ivy's right here in front of Simon. Nino's supposed to be creeping up, get it from behind, right? His phone go off. Simon turns around, right? So everybody's distracted. Simon turns back around hurriedly, aims the gun at Ivy, goes to he shoots the gun. Mama K jumps in front of Ivy, gets shot in the chest, right? So now the cops pull up. Nino was able to subdue Simon, but Mama K died. I'm like, damn! First of all, she died. She didn't even get to meet her grandchild. Like, she was a protect. I really enjoyed Mama K's character. Yeah, she was a murderer. All right, figuratively, she's a murderer. But I'm like, damn, like, that's the definition. I'm gonna protect my baby at any cost. So anyways, that's that. So now the mama's dead. So now we getting into the funeral home. So at the funeral home, basically there's no funeral because it was just Ivy and her mom. So Ivy wants her mom to be cremated. So while she goes there to the funeral home, because that was the only time that she could get away from Nino. Since her mother died, Nino was like, oh, I know you don't have nobody, I'm gonna be here for you. Like, he's overly protected. I'm like, first of all, like, what everything she just put you through, why are you still here? Like, something's not adding up. But I mean, I guess, you know, he said there was even, so I'm like, all right, got even. So while she's at the funeral home, Cage pulls up on her. So she's like, oh, get away from me. He's like, listen. I did not violate you. I'm about to put you onto the truth. Long story short, he was like, the mask that was in the bathroom is Sherry. Sherry, Cage, Juju, they're all cops who have been investigating Ivy and set as a task force to take her down so she could confess. Nino is a psychologist. They brought Nino in as a psychologist because Cage decided at the last minute that he could not be Ivy's 13th husband because he ended up falling in like with her, and Nino was the best next option because he's a psychologist and he lacks emotion, he lacks heart, he only cares about the job, so he was the best fit because he wouldn't get any emotional attachment. So Cage tells Ivy, like, listen, this is how it happened. We put the task force together. I was supposed to marry you, but Nino ended up doing it. Juju was my partner. Juju got close to you at the job because y'all started at the same time. You never really noticed that. So, you know, there was that. And then he was like, after Juju died, Sherry became his new partner. So they was also on the task force. And Nino became your husband because Nino was tasked with the responsibility of getting you to confess to killing your husbands. But Cage was like, during the time that they was on the investigation, because it's been a minute, he got to know Ivy, so did Juju, and they decided that, you know, technically speaking, there was no evidence. They really liked her as a person. They wanted to end the investigation. So when they brought the idea to end an investigation of Nino was hell-bent on like, no, she's guilty, I'm gonna prove it. So he didn't want to end the investigation. So Nino was becoming a little like, he was taking this to heart. He was doing too much. So Juju and Cage came up with the idea to kill Nino, because that's the only way to end the investigation. I'm like, what type of fucking cops are y'all? So anyways, but I like y'all. So when Cage and Juju hit Nino, he was supposed to die. He didn't die. So now that he survived, it only enraged him more, because he really thought that Ivy tried to kill him with everything that he know. So the only reason why he stayed around Ivy after everything going on, even with the lion and pregnancy, all that, is because he's determined. He has a goal to bring Ivy down, because he believes that Ivy is a serial bride. That's what they named her, the serial bride, a murderer, right? So after hearing all this, she's like, damn, what the hell? So now, she finds out that Cage Juju really wanted to protect her. So she's warming up more. So when she goes back, before she goes back, Cage is like, listen, you need to stay away from Nino. He is crazy. He's off his hinges. Like, he's going to do everything to keep you in his vicinity. She goes back. She wait like a week passed. Like, throughout the days, like, Nino would not let her out his sight. He's tracking her every move. Like, he don't want her to go to the store. She can't do nothing. When she's peeing, he's right by the door. Like, he's fiending. So anyways, Ivy's like, listen, I gotta get away from him. So she has to go to her prenatal appointment. She goes to the appointment while she's in the bathroom, because he can't go with her. I mean, he goes to the appointment with her, but he can't go in the bathroom with her. While she's peeing, she tells the nurse, listen, he's crazy. I need to get up out of here. So she escapes the hospital without him knowing and gets on a city bus, and she goes to Cage house. So when she pulls up to Cage house, she's like, listen, I want to leave town. I didn't kill anyone. My sister killed my husband, by the way. And yeah, so I'm not leaving without my mama's ashes. So Cage is like, all right, like, you need to get out of town, forget the ashes, but you don't have a sister. She's like, start laughing it off. So Ivy refuses to leave town without her mama's ashes. Mind you, Sherry is the only one on the investigation that doesn't know, like, that Ivy and Cage is, seeing each other, that she's pregnant, that the investigation is supposed to be over. Because at one point, Cage was like, yo, the investigation, we called the headquarters, it's supposed to be over, we're supposed to be leaving. It ended, we didn't find no evidence. So Ivy's staying at Cage place while Nino is back at their house, because Nino's been tracking her. Like, she had to lose her cell phone, all that. So Ivy's like, all right, one day, Ivy's like, listen, like, I just gotta go. Like, just promise me that you'll get my mother ashes, you'll mail it to me. She refuses to tell anyone where she's going. So when she gets ready she was getting ready to leave, there was a knock at the door. It was Sherry. So Ivy decides that she's going to come out. Sherry's like, oh, what is she doing here? Ivy's like, nothing. Like, I was just leaving. Cage is like, listen, she just came over. She knows everything. Like, she knows about the investigation. Next thing you know, Sherry pulls out a gun and shoots Cage. I'm like, what the hell? But prior to Cage opening the door for Sherry, he had handed Ivy one of his other guns, because he thought it was Nino at the door. So when Sherry shoots Cage, Ivy puts the gun, like, behind her back or whatever. Sherry takes Ivy hostage over to her house next door. So when they go in the house, Ivy sits on the couch. She puts the gun between the thigh and the couch, the cushion. And then she makes a call. She's like, yeah, I got her here, whatever. So we like, yo, what's going on? What's going on? I'm like, what's going on? Like, the hell going on with Sherry? So I'm like, damn, Sherry was working with Nino. That's what everybody's thinking. So now, and I was also sad. I'm like, damn, the sexy neighbor Cage is really dead. Like, damn. But all we know is that at the time he got shot. I just assumed he was dead. So anyways, a couple minutes go by. Well, let's say like a 2010, whatever. I don't know, go by. In walks the supposed dead husband, number 9, Dave, right? So Dave is a white man. And Dave ended up dead because he was a millionaire. Ivy didn't really care for the money. Ivy decided that she was going to leave Dave once she found out that Dave likes men and using her as a cover-up, and Dave refuses to tell his father because his father is a religious man and it will ruin his money, it will ruin his image. Ivy was just like, listen, I hear you, you do your thing, that's not for me, I just want out the marriage, I don't want nothing from you. Dave was like, oh no, like, you're gonna stay here, reap the benefits, play the good wife. So that's when Ivy was like, yo, like, I'm finna tell your father. I don't know why she said that. Soon as she said that, he's like, all right, I can't let you leave. So he starts choking her out. Before she could die, in walks Mama K right at the right time and hits him over the head. Mama K then left the option for him to, like, listen, like, you either get killed or you kill yourself. Pen a suicide note saying, I couldn't live with myself, tell your truth with the woo. But come to find out, Dave was like, listen, like, I've been embezzling money from my father's company anyway. Like, I could pay people to fake my death. So when everybody thought that he was dead, he actually faked his death and was living in the Caribbean. Then when he found out about the investigation, he was still upset, like, yo, like, this little, like, Ivy made me run for my real life. Now I'm about to get revenge. So when he found out everything that was going on with the investigation, he decided that he needed to play a part in everything. So come to find out, Sherry is one of Dave's contacts. Sherry shot Juju because Juju was was close to Ivy and stopping Sherry from doing her part in the investigation to help Dave. So that's why Juju ended up dying, right? So none of them are working with Nino. I'm just like, Nino is just really deranged at this point. So anyways, Dave was just like, you know, enough of small talk. Like, I really just couldn't rest without killing you. So he's like, he gets on top of Ivy, starts choking Ivy out. So Ivy's like on the verge of losing consciousness. So she can't even react to get the gun, like to pull the gun because she's getting weak. At the same time, the door comes busting in. In comes like the cops and Nino. So come to find out, Cage didn't die. He called Nino and told Nino, like, yo, Sherry's in on this. Sherry's trying to kill Ivy. Nino calls the police. The police comes, knocked in the door. While Dave is distracted, Ivy takes the gun, pumps mad bullets into him. Boop, 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 boop. Before he died, he said some funny stuff. What did he say? He said, game over, and Ivy said, I win. So yeah, so Dave ends up dying. That's how it happened. So Nino was basically like, when Ivy and Nino went to talk to each other, Nino's whole personality changed. Like, it's like a relief to be over with the investigation. He talks different. So then Ivy tells Nino, like, listen, my mother is my sister. My sister is the one that was doing the murders. I was innocent. They tried to arrest Ivy, but Nino wouldn't let that happen because he's like she didn't do anything. Ivy was like, you know, I killed one husband, which was Dave. Finally killed one, but I wish I could kill two. Which, she was talking about Nino because she hates Nino because obviously he's number 13. He was just like, good thing we're not married. So she come to find out, like, none of this meant anything to Nino. Like, he really was heartless. It was really a job for him. So Ivy decides that she's gonna disappear. She disappears to Hawaii without telling anybody. She has her baby girl, which she names Daisy June after her sister mama. And while she's there, you know, here comes Cage walking on the beach. Cage ends up finding her. He quit his job. He sold his furniture. He finds her, and the only way he finds her is because of what she named Daisy, the baby Daisy June, and it matches the mother's real name. And he's like, listen, I love you, like, I want to be with you, like, we in this together, like, I want to be a father. And then Ivy was like, all right, we could be together, but promise me I never want to get married again. And Cage was like, good, because I don't have to be dead husband number 14. And they live happily ever after. And that is the story. Like I said, it was so much that happened in the book. I may have not touched upon every scandalous thing, but it was scandalous, guys. I'm just like, from the mama dating the dead husband father, from her being pregnant to Nino saying I can't have kids. I'm like, yo, what is going on? And the only reason, I forgot to mention, and again, Juju had pictures of Ivy on her computer because she was obviously investigating Ivy. But Juju didn't even have to die. I'm like, damn. But anyways, guys, this was a scandalous book. It was really entertaining. Like, it was just so much going on at once. I was just like, I couldn't put the book down. But yeah, so if you want to read it, if you want to read it, let me know what you think. Drop in the comments. I will get to the book recommendations, but right now, guys, I still have Lord of the Flies to do, but I just need books that's going to like keep me engaged. Like, honestly speaking, I can't have nothing too heavy right now because it's just not going to work for me. And I'm also in school and I'm working, so there's another thing that's preventing me too. So anyways, I appreciate all the love that you guys show me. Thank you for watching my video. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and your girl is out.